Welcome back. It is Tuesday, June 13th in the MLB. Our three favorite picks are on the way. It's Austin, joined by Logan. Let's recap yesterday, although I do not want to, an 0-3 day. And it was arguably one of the most tilting, I would say probably the most tilting 0-3 day, even just MLB day we've had all year long. Because there's reasonable, we could have gone 3-0 if we got a little bit of luck. But man, we cannot buy a break. Marlins, Mariners, Nerfy. You lose with 2 outs in the bottom of the first. Hey, we just need one more out and would have gotten away with a winner. JD Davis, De La Cruz hit parlay. JD Davis did his job. De La Cruz goes 0 for 5 with some bad breaks in there. Just didn't see the ball too well. And then honestly, the most tilting one of them all was Logan's pick on the Royals money line. Now, people are going to come in the comments and say, Logan, you're an idiot for trusting the Royals. And while they probably win today, I'll let you know Logan's not picking the Royals today. But they're going to win because that's just how MLB works. But 1 for 14 runners in scoring position for the Royals. And not only that, they drop a ball at home plate to get out the Reds in extra innings. I don't know how you recover from this one, Logan, but I have confidence we're going to bounce back. We can't be more unlucky than we did yesterday. I'm confident the plays are going to turn around. I'll keep the record up on the screen, and we're plus 20 units. Look, we obviously know what we're doing. We just have not had any luck over the past couple weeks, it feels like. But eventually, maybe yesterday was the final boss. We just had to conquer that bad luck day and maybe smooth sailing ahead. But Logan, if you want to rant, you can. The floor is yours, man.
Yeah, look, I just went to bed sick after that loss. I was like, this feels like rock bottom. When you pick against the public, you don't want to go in the comments in the toxicity afterwards, because then everyone's like, Reds was just so easy. How could you pick against them? If you know baseball, you know probably 9 times out of 10 the Royals win that game. And so it's just one of those things that it's a sickening loss. I really just had a hard time sleeping after it. It just made Austin and I just really down bad. But the thing about baseball, I've preached this before, it's a marathon, not a sprint. I mean, we're going through a really, really rough patch, but I just think the tides will turn eventually for us. And that's not going to change the way I pick, right? I'm confident in all the plays I pick, and I'm going to keep my same system. And Austin, we need some winners today. So my first pick, I'm going to the White Sox versus Dodgers, another late game. I'm taking the White Sox plus 1.5 on the run line. Minus 110 odds on DraftKings is currently your best value. Now, look, I'm not going to go ahead and change the way I do things just because I bet against the public yesterday and lost again, right? I'm never going to be on the public side. I'm just going to try not to. It's just not how you be profitable in baseball. I'll let you know. Public are all over the Dodgers. Makes sense, right? Pitchers with an ERA discrepancy at even odds on the run line is actually one of my favorite line reads to make, because the odds are just suckering you into taking that minus 1.5 run line. I take the worst side of the pitcher on this one because they think it's going to be a closer game than it actually is. Because the money line's too juiced. People go right to the run line, and that's where they always take L's. Tony Gonsolin, he's pitching for the Dodgers today. 2.21 ERA and a .98 whip. Those are pretty solid stats, right? But does that tell the full story? No, it doesn't. Because the wild stat for Gonsolin, his expected ERA, 4.54 expected ERA. So you look at that. Is he just getting lucky? Maybe. And his stats should probably regress. Gonsolin's expected batting average also 247 and expected slugging 424 are the highest of his career. So if you look at those numbers, he's not actually having all that great of a season. The ERA is the most deceptive stat, and it's naturally the one the betting public uses the most to gauge how they pick these things. I just think Gonsolin today is in line for not a shaky-ish start. Now the White Sox only hitting 221 on the road this season. An offense that has yet to really hit their stride. I'm not going to come out and say they're going to light Gonsolin up for 5 or 6 runs, but I could see them getting 3 to 4 runs and making this a game off Gonsolin. That's a not even that bold prediction. The White Sox also 10th in strikeouts on the road. I'm optimistic they can make Gonsolin work for their outs. The worst thing to do is take a road underdog, and they just get mowed down batter after batter, striking out the side. And he's just not that type of pitcher. He's not going to mow down the White Sox. They're a decent plate discipline team, right? They're shaky in hits and runs, but at least they can go up there and look at balls and strikes. Hopefully they can do that for us today and get some hits and runs there. Now, Lance Lynn starting for the White Sox today. 6.72 ERA and a 1.56 whip. Those numbers are bad. He's been hosting batting practice most of the year. You look at those game logs, you're just like, this guy is hard to trust. I get it, right? I get that he's hard to trust. He had a 3-game stretch in May, though, where he looked like the old Lance Lynn. Everyone thought he was back. He was having those 1 to 2 earned run type starts. But then after that, he could not sustain it. He just followed it up with some more bad starts. This line is indicative, though, of maybe him rounding back into form, because being minus 110 on the plus 1.5 run line means the odds makers expect you as a pitcher to give your team a chance. And I think even flirting with that 7 ERA, he's going to give the White Sox a chance today. Look at the Dodgers offense. They're only hitting 206 in their last 3 games. The Dodgers are mostly a name. Everyone just loves to back them because, they're one of the blue bloods of baseball. But I mean, I just think they're overvalued in this spot. And you look at the 2 bullpens, Dodgers 28th in bullpen ERA, the White Sox 26th in bullpen ERA. I mean, look at that. 2 bad bullpens. Neither bullpen has been great most of the year. And if you told me the White Sox pick up the cover run late in this game because the Dodgers bullpen allow it, I would say, sure, that sounds about on brand. I don't know how you could trust the Dodgers minus 1.5 unless it's a straight fade of Lance Lynn, because the Dodgers bullpen just doesn't seem good enough to be able to hold that 2-run lead. So I'm going to go ahead and take the White Sox on the plus 1.5 run line. I think they make this game a close competitive game. I think we see a solid start out of Lance Lynn. But Austin, player prop time, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I do want to touch on your pick, Logan. I actually really like it. I was looking at some Lance Lynn props. His strikeout prop is at about 5.5, something he hasn't hit, I think, in like 4 straight starts. And also, a lot of the Dodgers actually don't have great splits against him. I think Freddie Freeman, like 3 for 20 lifetime against Lance Lynn. And if they can get Freddie out, that's big time, because Freddie's almost the heart of this offense. And Mookie Betts a decent splits versus him, but not great. But let's move on. And I do want to touch on, Logan doesn't necessarily wake up and say, oh, well, the public's here, I'm just going to fade it strictly. I feel like in MLB, when a lot of people are on a heavy side, it opens up a lot of value on the other side. Well, I'm not saying, the Dodgers don't cover more often than not against the White Sox, but sometimes the lines favor, the public is hammering one side and value opens up on the other side, which is kind of where you want to be, in my opinion. That's normally where the sharps are, and that's normally who the people make money. But in terms of enough of that soapbox, let's get into my 2-leg hit parlay, and this one's smacking. Let's talk with these 2 guys. It's Ronald Acuna Jr. of the Braves, and you recognize this guy, Elly De La Cruz of the Cincinnati Reds, each to record a hit, minus 105 on Bet365. This is much more juiced on FanDuel if you take it there. And DraftKings is down as we record this video today, so maybe it's better value there, but I probably would doubt it. But let's talk with this one, and I might have another hit parlay post a little bit later on today. It will be in the pinned comment section down below. But let's talk with these 2 guys, and let's dive right back in, because we've backed Acuna before. He did his job. That's all we can ask for. And I'm confident, once again, he can do his job here. And you look at Acuna batting .328 on the year, .341 on the road, and .324 versus right-handed pitchers. Like, he has a hit in 3 straight games and 9 of his last 10. So I certainly think Acuna come out here and do his job. He's going to bat leadoff for the Braves, so we know he's going to have plenty of chances here, and he's going to face a rookie in Reese Olson. Now, Olson's honestly looking pretty good. I mean, you look at his 2 starts, been pretty solid. 5 innings pitched in each of them, 2.70 ERA and a .70 whip. Look, this will be his first home start, and I feel like young pitchers, you sometimes see them come in and look pretty decent. Their first and second, sometimes even third start look pretty good. But when teams get more film on you, see the pitches are going to throw, that's normally when that 3rd, 4th start comes around and you see them give up like 5 earned runs. And it wouldn't surprise me if maybe Reese Olson gets a little bit rocked today, because that certainly is possible. And even if he doesn't get rocked, we know Acuna could get a hit, whether it's against him or against the bullpen too. The Tigers bullpen, about league average. But I certainly think that we'll see a chance for Acuna. He's obviously a guy that can beat out some infield singles as well. And you're going to look at Olson, those 42% sinker, 35% slider to right-handed batters. Acuna, 367 expected batting average and 356 expected batting average, first those 2 pitches respectively. If you want to look at the 3rd pitch he's going to see, it's going to be a 4-seam fastball. Acuna's hitting 349 expected batting average there. We know how talented Acuna is. He can find the gaps. He obviously can beat out some hard throws. And I certainly think Acuna can get us at least 1 hit. Like I said, going to bat leadoff, should get his chances. Now, next up is going to be Elly De La Cruz. Now, yeah, he hurt us yesterday. Now, there was a fielder's choice that he probably would have beaten out, but you don't get a hit if the guy gets thrown out at second. And honestly, if I don't even know what the record is. If you just run back the guys that I took the one day that don't get a hit, they get a hit the next day. Heck, look at Masataka Yoshida. He didn't even play yesterday. He pinch hit in the 10th inning and got a hit 1 for 1. That's just comfortable. That's just how it works. You're always sometimes a day early here. And when you kind of get all things clicking on the same cylinder, then you're hitting a pretty good streak. And we look at Elly De La Cruz. Sure, he went 0 for yesterday. Still batting .296 on the year. So had a hit in 6 of his 7 career games. Batting .368 for righties. He's going to see Jordan Lyles, a righty today. Now, a lot of people are probably going to be on De La Cruz to hit a homer, because Jordan Lyles is what we like to call turkey tosser. He's going to throw out, and he probably gives up a home run or two. And while I'm not saying Dela Cruz it's a homer, we don't have any Dinger Tuesday plays. I don't hate it, but obviously we're just asking for Dela Cruz to get a single. And maybe that's all he does get today. And he's going to see a lot of four-seamers, a lot of curveballs, 2 pitches that he has good splits against, as we've talked about before. Dela Cruz, 100th percentile in sprint speed. This is a guy that can beat out those ground balls, does it time and time again. If it's weak contact, he can probably beat it out to first base. And yesterday we saw him hitting the fielder's choice. Like I said, he beat out the throw. Well, I don't necessarily know if he would have beaten it out if they went straight to first base, but either way, this is a guy that with elite sprint speed, and also he's talented. I don't expect him to go 0 for 5 again. They're going to have plenty of base runners, whether it's via the walk or via, getting hits against Jordan Lyles and that Royals bullpen. So reasonable to say he could see 5 plate appearances today, and if he goes 0 for 5 again, well, hey, that's just that's how baseball works. I can't swing the bat for him, but I certainly think he gets a hit today. So Ellie De La Cruz, Ronald Acuna Jr., each record a hit, -105 on Bet365. I think this is a winner. Go get it done, fellas. But Logan, you know what time it is. Nerfy Nation time, baby. Let's get out the flags. Yesterday, Jesus Luzardo, he had a chance to be an Nerfy GOAT, and he could not do it. His teammate Sandy Alcantara did his job, but normally does his job, but Jesus had a chance. But today we've got a good one that's plus value, and let's talk about it. It's Phillies and Diamondbacks taking the Noah in first inning, +105 on Bet365. It's about -118 on FanDuel, I think -110-ish on DraftKings. So if you got a Bet365, definitely do it there where you get plus money. Now, you can take the tie as always if you want to. It's for a little more juice, but personally, I would not take a tie. I would just lay the +105, and if hopefully this hits. Now let's talk about Zach Davies, who's going to start for the Diamondbacks. And Davies 3-2 on the season for no run first innings. He has nerfied in 3 straight games, and if you look at his game logs, his first 2 starts of the year, where it's reasonable to say, hey, this guy's gonna come in a little rocky. He's Yerfeed in his first 2 starts, but they both came against the Dodgers, a very talented first inning offense. And while I'm not saying the Phillies aren't talented, they are 12th in first inning runs. We do know Kyle Schwarber. It is June, and maybe Schwarber sends one into the bleachers. But something we noticed about this game, you had an over-under of 10 yesterday. You absolutely smacked it. The over-under, they scored 17 runs. Yeah, they lowered it down to 8.5 here. I think Davies gives them at least a respectable start. It's not like he's a completely trash pitcher. I think he'd come out here, get us those first 3 outs. I'm pretty confident the guy on the other side is going to get it done. But who's that going to be, Logan?
Yeah, it's going to be Zach Wheeler. Hopefully he can get us those last 3 outs. Zach Wheeler is probably the pitcher I can trust out of these 2 options. He's 10-3 on no-run first innings this year. He's a good strikeout specialist. Diamondbacks 14th in first inning runs. He's going to have his hands full with a Diamondbacks team that, to me, has just been really surprising offensively. There's a lot of hitters at that top of the lineup that have really great averages, but Zach Wheeler, I think, will rise to the occasion. As Austin mentioned, the over-under only set to 8.5. That it is weird always to watch them lower, significantly after a high-scoring game. I just think these 2 pitchers are actually really solid no-run first inning options. Zach Davies, also to add on that, Zach Davies is a pitch-to-contact guy. I can never trust the Phillies to get timely, base hits and everything like that. So the fact that he's a pitch-to-contact guy, I think that will actually challenge the Phillies a lot in that first inning. Like, can they see him well enough to hit where the defense isn't? We'll see on that one. But Nerfy Nation, I think we have a really good chance. Let's bounce back in a big way today.
Yeah, let's fly the flags, get a little +105 winner. Yeah, if we get up to JT Realmuto, who went hit for the cycle yesterday, yeah, I mean, hey, look, everything was clicking for the Phillies yesterday. Same for the Diamondbacks, except for Christian Walker. I certainly think this is a pretty good one there. It's not the best Nerfy slate, but we like this one. We think this one's got a good chance. 2 Zachs, just need 3 outs apiece. Go get it done. Let's go 3-0. Let's have a bounce back day. If we have a hit parlay added, it will be in the pinned comment section down below, so definitely check that out. And if you want to follow us on Twitter, you'll see it there as well. Let's have a great Tuesday. No Dinger Tuesday plays today, but this is a 3-0 sweep. We'll see you guys back in tomorrow for some more. Peace.